Okay, I think we are live. Hello, everybody. It's Joey, and it's another version of the Everyday Purpose Conversations. And this is where we talk about what it means to live life from purpose, not how to figure it out or why you should, but like what it's like on a day-to-day basis. And I'm here with a man I was introduced by a mutual friend of ours. His name is John Rollins, and he runs this really cool program. It's called U R Important. And if you know anything about me, I send out an email every day that says you are something. I don't know if you knew this, John. I send out an email that says you are amazing or brilliant or beautiful, and important is definitely one of those words. And so I was like, I got to talk to this guy. So John, thank you so much for being here. Well, I want you to give a little introduction to yourself and tell us what you do and how you describe your purpose.
Well, first of all, thank you, Joy, for having me. I consider it an honor to meet others who understand the importance of living life with a purpose and following that passion. A little about me. I am a retiree of the city of Gainesville. I was a learning and development manager there. So training is in my blood. I've been training for over 30 years. And during my career, I had an opportunity to train people of all walks of life. I trained individuals who were going to be temporary staff working in the pools. I trained elected officials, and I found out there were some key skills that they needed to be successful. And so I thought if we could introduce those skills to young people, get them to embrace that, and then activate it, then as they enter the workforce, they will be more successful, more valuable contributors to society. And so my purpose is to introduce those skills, leadership, having the right attitude, building and maintaining relationships, setting goals and working to achieve those goals, and being a person of worth, a person of excellence. Give that to them while they're young, help them to reinforce it through relationships with others, and then watch and see what they become.
Awesome. So it sounds like you retired, but you're like, I got more to give. And so you started to think about, I'm sure you kind of went through some mental gymnastics to kind of figure out what it is that you wanted to deliver and then put it all together and all of that sort of thing. And I'm curious because I think that's a lot of people have some version of that. They're either in a job that they're like, okay, I want to do something else and I want to give something back and I want to do something that I think is interesting, and teaching is for a lot of people really, really interesting because it's so satisfying to see someone, their eyes light up when they get something, right? That moment. And so I'm curious what kind of challenges you went through yourself to go through that process that to kind of had you get to where you are today, just to give some people some insight of how you kind of worked through it and you grounded yourself in your purpose.
Well, when I retired, my intention, and we know what they say about intentions, my intention was to go into the community, build relationships, introduce this program, and I got sidetracked. I was offered an opportunity to work with a company, a founding company. And so we were able to travel across the nation. I was helping to build someone else's dream, but I sidetracked mine. I put mine on the back burner. A little bit later, I was introduced into another industry, worked there for a little bit, again, at the expense of my own purpose. And I think it was maybe two years ago, I decided that this is what I'm supposed to do. Of all the things that I've worked at, I've done taxes, I've done insurance, I've done a lot of stuff, but nothing kept me engaged the way that this program does. And the reason for that is because I genuinely care about people. I genuinely love people. And I feel that communicating this message, the You Are Important message, is a way of demonstrating that my purpose, walking it out on a day-to-day basis, and then letting other people know that they are valued.
Yep. Yeah. And it sounds like at some point you kind of had to start to trust your gut, that there's something in there that you were like, okay, I'm doing this stuff and it's okay, but something's not quite right. And at some point you said, this is it. I gotta do this other thing.
Yeah. And I know because of the work that you do, you're familiar with success versus significance. Okay. You can be successful but not making an impact. Success in your own realm, your own arena. But I understand that the true significance is what we leave in the lives of others. And so I was doing a lot of things, but this is my call. This is I believe the reason I'm here on this earth, and I have no intention of walking away from it.
Awesome. And so you start up You Are Important, and you start to do all that kind of work. what sort of challenges and how did you work through those sorts of things? Because it's one thing that, trust your gut and go like, I'm doing this. But then, as you know, it's a whole other thing to put into place and keep doing it. What kind of came up for you in those areas?
Yeah, well, one of the biggest challenges in the past and even today for me is I'm a trainer. That's what I do. My business skills are limited. And so, you can do this as a hobby, but my goal is to make this, and if I can say it since I'm here, my goal is to take this program nationally. And so I know that I can't do it as a hobby. I have to be wholeheartedly devoted to it. And so one of the challenges was trying to get the business aspect of it taken care of. Of course, I need funding, and my targets are normally nonprofit organizations. And as a general rule, those are not all of the time the most heavily funded areas. And so being able to provide money to take care of the expenses of offering the program as well as living, those are some of the challenges that I've encountered. But my mindset is those are just challenges. Those are things to overcome. If I do what I'm supposed to do, I believe that everything is going to take care of itself.
Yeah. That's a big challenge for people. The gap between the idea and the metrics of it all, and then the actually making it so you can get paid for it.
Right.
And so you can have that peace of mind that this is going in the right place and that you can survive and go forward. So when when you were, a lot of people talk, we talk about purpose, and they get kind of stuck sometimes because they get worried, and they get, all those human concerns sort of come up. Like, where's the paycheck going to come from? And how's this going to work? And how am I going to take this national if I just got one, there's just one of me, and, all those kind of questions. What do you notice about yourself when those things come up? Or how do you notice, like, maybe you're kind of going down a little bit of a darker path than you should be, and you got to, right the ship?
Yeah. Well, I am a man of faith. And so I devote a lot of time to prayer. And I'm constantly seeking guidance and direction. Thankfully, I have a very good support system. My wife supports what I'm doing. I have a group of friends, such as Chad, of other individuals who are partnering with me to try to make this message more acceptable, more received in the community. And so I think those trips down that dark road, I've always been fortunate enough to have someone who's either calling me from the back, who's telling me, hey, John, we're over here. This is where you need to be. Or I get far enough and then I'll turn around and look for someone, and I'll go out and find someone who understands what it is that I'm trying to do, and who knows that this is the thing that will keep me moving forward. And so they keep encouraging me. They remind me that what I'm doing is the right thing, that it is making a difference. And from that joy, I'm able to reignite myself. But once again, I give all of my credit to the relationship that I have with God.
Well, I think I really admire that. I'm not a man of faith, but you'll love this. I go to a Christian men's group on Monday mornings. It's from a church, and I went there out of a need to connect with other men. It was last fall when all the Me Too conversations were coming up, and I realized, like, whoa, I've done some things that I am not proud of, and that I wasn't being my purpose in those moments. And so I was like, I got to talk to more men, because I think more men need to be talking to each other. So I go to and it turns out this group meets at a donut shop just down the street from my house. And it's the Monday morning group of a church that a friend of mine actually runs. And they just do a little deeper dive from the sermon, whatever the pastor talks about, we do a little deeper dive. And the interesting part is, the first time I ever spent any time around in talking about faith and the Bible and stuff. And I find it really fascinating, the human side of it all. And that to me is really interesting. But I also think it's that community that is so important, having people around, because it's so easy if you're trying to do a program to end up by yourself. And it sounds like, so you have the faith, which is also kind of bringing in a community, right? It's a big, a big partner.
Yeah.
But also it sounds like you got a really good, or you've cultivated a really good group of people that you can lean on when necessary.
Right, right. Yeah,
And is that something you talked about with your kids, like as you're teaching them, like that sense of community and working together?
that's one of the aspects of it. It's the relationships. And you familiar with Zig Ziglar? Zig says you can get anything you want out of life if you help enough other people get what they want out of life.
Yeah.
I've heard research that 85% of the success of organizations is related is due to the relationships. So one of the things that I encourage with our young people is to build and maintain healthy, productive relationships. You want to have friends that you can call on when you need a friend. If you alienated everyone and no one wants to be there for you,
Yeah.
it's going to be tough trying to paddle that boat all by yourself.
You know, I got to tell if any of your kids doubt that, you have them come talk to me, because my wife, she has friends from kindergarten.
Yeah.
Her best friend is like, if you didn't know her by the third grade, like you're friends, but you're not in the best friend category. Like she's
Right.
had friends and I haven't. You know, I'm the kind of the classic guy that's kind of bounced around and have some relationships, and I can see that the benefit that she has when she can call people, it's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, those relationships matter. They are. I've been fortunate. I grew up in the city where I live, and so I've been here most of my life. And a lot of the people that I knew in before school, and like I said, in elementary and middle school, I still maintain contact with those individuals. Some through Facebook, some through personal interactions. But I'm fortunate to have individuals that, and I every day I'm meeting new people, and I don't think I'm an extrovert, but as I mentioned before, I just love people. And so it's easy for me to form a relationship with individuals.
That's awesome. And I have to ask, how is all of the Parkland kids and all of their activity and the marches and all of that, how is that, impacting your work and what's showing up with that? Because there's, a lot of people are really inspired by them. You're working with kids the same age. I'm curious how those conversations are showing up.
I work with a group that's comprised of the police department, the school board, many of our health services providers. We call it a system of care here in Alachua County. And that's the topic that's a topic that takes place in many of our meetings. How do we deal with those concerns? And my message is going to be the same. Even in rough times, you still have to realize your true value. And I tell them to become a person that's important. And when you realize your value, then you're going to be sensitive to the way that you treat other people. And everybody's not going to make a good decision. And sometimes they make really traumatic decisions. But those survivors, we embrace each other. We support each other. We console. And then we go out and then we try to spread that good message so that we have fewer of those episodes. Are we going to reach everyone? No. One of the things that I say is you are important. Tell everyone, exclude no one, reach someone. So if we continue to get this message out, somebody's going to be impacted, and that person's life may be changed. And then we may get a domino effect.
Right. No, I absolutely believe that. And I think it's when you understand your importance and when you're connected to who you are and you got people around you, that believe in you, in those moments where the opportunity to shine that's when you can really, you'll be prepared to step into those moments.
Right.
Honestly, that's why I see the kids, that led all those marches. They're like, it sounds like they had a great teacher and a great support staff. And when this awful thing happened, they're performing miracles. They're stepping up in ways that are huge.
That's right.
And so I'm sure your kids are in some, they're like, let's do something. That's what I love the most out of this. It's like, it's not just like you're important, but it's like, you're important. Let's go do something.
That's the leadership component. We talk about leadership, being a person that others want to follow. So we have the right attitude. So yeah, all of the messages that all of the skills that we include in our message, you'll see it on display in some of the things that the young people are doing today. And I am encouraged by our young people.
Yeah.
Many times we hear we're in trouble, the next generation this, the next generation that. But I go out and I work with them on a day-to-day basis. I really am encouraged. They're not as far off base as some people think, but we'll never know that if we don't take time to sit and speak with them and put forth the effort to understand where they are.
Well, one thing that I've gotten out of this, and I think you spoke to it, like when you really see your own greatness, and this is actually one of my mottos. I can't really see your greatness if I don't see mine, and I can't really see mine if I'm not seeing yours. It's kind of like this back and forth sort of thing. Yeah. And maybe one of the things that when we look down at the kids and we're like, oh, they're just doing this or they're just doing that. Maybe that was us projecting our own kind of insecurities where we weren't taking action and we were just assuming that they weren't. And then they turned around and said, no, we're doing something. I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so I always keep these short, about 20 minutes. And so how can people get in touch with you? How can they support you? What's the best way to contact you?
Well, I'm available on my website is www.motivateyou of NCF. Motivate is spelled MOTIV as in Victor, the number 8, the letter U of NCF or North Central Florida. www.motivateyouofncf.com. I'm on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Twitter. And Joy, I've authored a few books. So if you go to the website, you can see some of the books that are consistent with some of the messages that I'm trying to share with the individuals. So you can reach me on phone, 352-363-0230. I hope it's okay to give that number out.
Awesome. No, it'll be there as long as you're okay with getting phone calls.
Yeah, that's how we communicate.
That's love it. Hey, and I got to ask you, do you have family? I forgot to ask that. Like, who's your people?
I'm married for I'll be 28 years this year, 27 years. We were married in 1991, 27 years this year. I have 2 children that were birthed through our relationship. I have several adopted children.
Oh, wow.
Grandchild. And then my parents and my siblings are all here. So I have a big family.
Wow. That's awesome. Yeah. 27 years. You probably got used to saying you are important to your wife, right?
Every day, you are important. And I'm glad that you made the choice to marry me. You could have had so many others, but you chose me.
Chose me. Okay, man. I appreciate that. And hey, let's stay in touch. I'll connect with you on LinkedIn. I'm trying to build a good group of people. I'd love the opportunity at some point to show you the stuff that I'm doing with Around Purpose. And if we can just get more, because I really do believe that if we could help kids figure out their purpose younger, then they can do something interesting and powerful in all sorts of cool ways.
I agree. And thank you again for the opportunity. It is a pleasure to just have someone to share what we're trying to do and to believe in it.
Awesome, man. Okay, hold on for 1 second. I'm going to say goodbye to everybody here, and then I'll be right back. Hey, y'all. Hey, thanks for watching this. Definitely check out John's site. It's just good stuff. And that's what I'm trying to do here is find interesting people doing interesting work, helping people identify their purpose. And like what John really says, own it. Because it's one thing to figure out your purpose. That's a whole other thing to use it each and every day. And that's the goal of my work. And if you do want to figure out your purpose, I have an online program. It's through the Appreciation Nation. It's called the Purpose Payday. And you help figure out your purpose, honestly, in about 30 minutes. It's totally cool. So check it out if you want. The link will be down below. I'll put John's links. And have an awesome, awesome day. I'll talk to you later. Bye.